Guys, welcome back to the Conspirators Club, and today we're going to be deep diving into some of the content that you've responded well to on my other social media platforms. Also, if you're really into this content, then I have a recommendation for you. Go and follow my better half on here, Ria Reacts. She's just made a channel and I'll leave a link in the description. She's just as interesting, she makes great content, and she's definitely much easier on the eye. So instead of looking at an abominable snowman like me all the time, go and check her channel out, much easier on the eye, I promise you. Anyway, enough of the self-sabotage, let's get into the first video.
We drink blood and eat brains.
Why they telling me, they told me, yeah, J man, be careful around Lil Zay, they drinking blood and eating brains. Where did that come from? Where did that whole scenario come from, bro? Break that shit down to me. That's like vampire type shit, gang.
No, I already know it's like vampire type shit, but
is that like that's a real whoop?
That's real deal, you know what I'm saying?
See, this is exactly why I do not listen to rap music no more, because I know there is things that people have had to do to sell those records. And I know some of you are going to hit me with, I don't even know who this guy is. Well, I'll be honest with you, neither do I. But that's who the industry choose. The ones who are trying to come up, the ones that are impressionable. The more established artists, they've already done their duty. They've got to do a few things here and there. But these guys have got to put that work in. So does this guy really do these things? I don't know. But it seems to me he's definitely very well aware of the things that go on. Now, we're not going to sit here and say that in that video what that guy is saying is definitely true, because we know that so many of these guys are desperate for fame that they'll say absolutely anything. Now, does this stuff go on? You and I know the truth to that because we talk about it all the time. And seeing as we're on the subject of rappers, I thought we could look back at the Big Lurch case. Big Lurch, what a name. But anyway, yeah, Big Lurch. The red flag was there when someone woke up and decided to call themselves Big Lurch. So anyway, I know a few of you are not going to know who this guy is because I didn't either. And I used to be a big fan of hip hop music. Big Lurch, real name Antron Singleton, was an underground rapper that was associated with the horrorcore scene in the year 2000. So it seems to me. Horrorcore, I don't know if you guys have ever heard that, but that is some weird music. They talk about cannibalistic things and eating people's guts and all that. It just shows you, be careful what you speak into existence, because I'm going to tell you in a second how this type of stuff manifested for this guy. Because in 2002, while this guy was experiencing an induced psychotic episode, he literally ate his roommate. Now take a minute, because you're thinking, he ate his roommate. Yeah, I'm being literal here. He ate his roommate. The name of the girl was Natasha Sands. She was a 21-year-old college student, God rest her soul. And the incident occurred in April 2002. Now this guy was high as a kite on PCP. And in my opinion, when you're taking hardcore heavy drugs like that, you are opening doorways and portals for demons to get into your mind. So if you ask me, he was probably so high that some sort of signal got through to him and he's decided to do the most unimaginable thing. But anyway, guys, he was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. And I think that's probably the best, because who really wants someone like that back on the streets?
You're telling me that is human flesh? Exactly. But why human meat? We know more about humans than we do about animals. So we've mastered engineering human cells to make these structured flavours and sinews that we expect from the flavours of steaks we eat. This must be a relatively new process. Under EU law, we couldn't possibly operate machines like this due to legislation. But thankfully now we're out. We can harvest people and we can pay them for their flesh. Well, this will either be cut into steaks or it'll go off and be processed for sausages, burgers, you name it.
Guys, all I'm going to say is we really have no idea or clue what is going into the food chain. But one thing we do know is your local butcher doesn't have a lab in the back. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go on like I know the science behind all this type of stuff, because I don't. I'm just an observer. I'm just someone who watches these things, does a bit of research and looks into it. And without repeating myself too much, one thing I'm going to say is we have no idea. If you're someone like me and on the same page as me of what I've just described, then we have no idea what is going into our food. And that is exactly why I said Your local butcher, he's not a mad scientist, he doesn't have a laboratory in the back. It's better to go and take away that convenience and make the effort to go and source and find a good butcher's. And alternatively, if you're in the UK, Marks and Spencer's has just brought out a range of food where it's literally just beef, salt, pepper. 4 ingredients, I think it is. Like, this is really, really important. You know, I'm a meat eater. I don't know if you guys are. But even if you're vegan, I think you'll find when you look on the coding of a lot of these foods, just processed out of the mind, and they're all in the red. Also, there's a great app called Yuka, Y-U-K-A. You scan the barcode and it will literally tell you if foods are bad. So, you know, with the things that you do have to pick up from the supermarket, you can use something like that. You know, there's a lot of hidden things that are in food, and we need to make ourselves aware of it. Even me, I need to get a bit more clued up on these things because it's important.
The consistency of young human flesh. You got soft human flesh. I
hate pizza.
You hate pizza?
I know. I boo! I got it!
Do you hate babies? Do you hate babies?
Lots of weird things happen to kids all the time, all around the world, every day. You know, I have something to show for it.
You know, before my eyes were awakened to what was going on, I used to think maybe actors couldn't handle the fame and that's why they all ended up dysfunctional and having issues and problems in later life. But when you see videos like this from people who've been part of this industry and then you look at how they've turned out, it would suggest to a much darker and evil reason why. What has gone on to make people who had the world at their feet turn out the way they have? I wish everyone would start waking up and start believing the cries from people who have been affected by this said industry. Some people might think we really have it in for Hollywood, but it's not the case. They shoot themselves in the foot. They jump out and they come out with these really, really far-fetched and sickening comments all the time to describe a type of food as young human flesh. Why would you say something like that? You know, unless, of course, like Chrissy Teigen in a video we did previously, you know, maybe you've dabbled and had a bit of human flesh. And concluding from the video we previously watched, what they were growing, seems to me that there's almost a market for this type of thing. But you know, rich people don't eat processed food, do they? Rich people don't eat chicken that's made in the lab. I wonder if this new, well, it's not new, but this it's very, very old, going back to the dawn of time. This cuisine that they're interested in, I wonder if that's freshly farmed, so to speak, if you catch my drift. We are living in some very, very crazy times. And I think with the internet and every little thing people have done can be documented and replayed, as opposed to the old format of television where it wasn't replayed no more. People can look back and they can find these things, they can highlight them, and there's some fraudulent slips going on, so to speak. And that's what my job is, to find these things, highlight them, so we can come here and discuss them. But yeah, anyway guys, I'm going to conclude and wrap it up with that. They were the 3 videos that I've done well this week and I thought we could speak on. Once again, thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week. Don't forget to comment, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe if you've not. You know, we're a new channel trying to prove ourselves to YouTube so we can go up the recommendations and rankings of the algorithm and all that stuff. But anyway, have a good week, good night, God bless.